But what we really need is more light, kind of like that up there, which doesn't really work anymore. So what I've done is ordered some new lights, which are coming in sometime probably in the next half a month or so. I don't know when the shipping time is, but they said
a number of business days.
Okay, well, that didn't quite go to plan.
Yeah, g'day folks, you're back again with the big fella. And as you probably gathered from that intro, things hadn't really gone the way I wanted them to with those lights. I'm back in the shed now, basically because outside it's very hot and there's a lot of birds getting in the way of the audio, so I can't really talk over the top of them. They're just so damn loud. So the lights that I wanted to get from overseas, well, let's just say they exist, but as far as I'm concerned, they never existed because I paid for them. I waited for them to come in. Now, certain video reviews of these lights that I saw, they allow for a lot of adjustability, especially with the bottom and the side elements of the light. They can adjust not only in and out, but also up and down. What also came with was a remote control, which would have allowed for a bit more flexibility as far as leaving the light on for certain designated times, because the light needs to be on full brightness for the frogs to feed. They look like they're better constructed than the ones I have now, but the solar panel looks exactly the same. The PIRs on the ones that I have now, there's 2 of them, and this one only has 1. As far as the overall construction goes, they're just about identical. Just this one looks like it's better built, and it would have been nice to actually have these come in. Unfortunately, the seller and the distribution of these lights, well, they had other plans. There's a few reviews that are on that site. Let's just say that there are people that deal with the distribution of them in select countries like the US, but everywhere else in the world, it's a big fat middle finger to you all, because you'll have paid the money and you'll be waiting for the goods to come in and they won't help you out at all. So basically I had to go with PayPal to get them to help recover the funds, and I've had to start again with the lights, and I found another lot which are very similar in design but not quite what I wanted, but they're a fairly close second. So these new lights have only just arrived. We're just going to open them up and see exactly what's what and get to putting them up, I suppose, and see how they work at night time. And now, as for the design of these lights, as innovative as they are, it's also their Achilles heel. They're designed to be packaged, and packaged up pretty well. So they're designed to fit 2 of these inside this little box and designed to unfold like that. But there is a problem. When you take them out and unfold them, it doesn't seem to be a bit of an issue until it becomes an issue, which is where this solar panel kind of gets in the way of itself. So what happens is, the solar panel, it's a nice beefy design, but it's also on the same rotational axis as the main body with the PIRs on there. Now you can probably see where this becomes a bit of an issue, because right now you've got 3 things: the mount, the solar collector, and the main light body on the same axis of rotation, and this doesn't become an issue until it kind of runs into itself. And as you can see, they're all joined in the middle by the 1 bolt. You can see where the problem is. The edge of the solar collector runs into the top part of the main light body. This wouldn't be an issue if there was a little bit more gap. And now, because of the design of the light, its practicality is a little bit limited, because you can't really put it under, say, a veranda or a balcony or an area like a covered patio, say, for instance. So the only real place you can put it is on the edge of a shed, or somewhere that's got a nice vertical face with no blocked access to the sun. Now in my case, I need somewhere that's going to be either easterly, northerly or westerly, because that's where the sun's strongest. So with an application like these frog hotels, they really come down to this face of the shed, which was covered by this light here until, if you look really closely, it got some pretty serious water ingress in there, and you can't really get it out without pulling the whole thing apart and then replacing all the electrics, which won't really work. Now, not to take anything away from these smaller lights, which I've had for about a year or so, they're actually doing a great job when they're able to be seen beyond these leaves of the plants, and they actually bring in some fairly small frogs to give them some food. But when it comes to the larger green tree frogs, the ones that occupy these pipes, then they need something a little bit bigger, which only really strong light actually helps to bring the bugs in. So what we're going to do is remedy that and get these lights up. I'm thinking probably about where these bolts are. that's probably about the right height for them. So we get the right amount of light. It's adjustable, you can pivot them to a degree, and I think it'll work out pretty well for them. First of all, what we're going to do is to get the lights some solar. We've got some much needed sun out here now. It was just rainy the last week or so, and now we're going to get them charged up. And the afternoon sun is the strongest, so what we're going to do is leave this facing out to the west and bring it in at the end of the day. Now you'll have to excuse the occasional wind noise. I don't have the usual microphone set up on this, so right now we've actually put up this mount, and it's a fairly clean looking mount, but what we're going to do now is attach this to it, like that, and click, and there it is. So now we can do all the adjustments that are needed, so let's get into that. So now that's the preliminary install, and I'll adjust bits of it when it comes to it later on this evening, but as it is, it doesn't sit too badly. The one concern I do have is that bottom one there doesn't quite sit in as far as I would like. It needs to actually position downwards further, but it's kind of hitting the wall. Now another thing is this solar collector, as big of an issue as it is, it's hitting bits and pieces underneath here, and that's not a real good thing, especially when you're trying to package it all together. Basically put it up as good as it'll go, kind of similar to these guys, which are sitting kind of facing east. I'll have to do a little bit more refinement when it comes to it later on tonight when it gets dark. We've still got a few hours, but I think what I might have to do is adjust this out and then push it down a bit further to allow this to rotate forward a bit more. So they're the only real issues that I have, but we'll do some fine tuning a bit later on. The funny thing is with these, they're very similar to the ones that I originally bought but were never sent, and I've got a refund on the way for them. But these ones actually just rotate this way. They would rotate this way on the other ones that I bought. You've got to play the cards you're dealt, so this one only rotates down this way. I'd like it if it went down, facing more down this way, but to do that, pretty much all I can do is that. So that's a bit unfortunate. Okay, so now it's just after 8:30 at night, and there's the light kind of illuminating just about everything that's below it. But this is only when someone walks up to it. When someone walks away, it goes down to about 10% brightness. Now, with the original lights that I had ordered, they came with a remote control, which meant you could actually keep them on at a certain brightness for an indefinite period. This one only has 3 different modes, so less than ideal, but I'll probably work around it. These ones will stay on probably about 10% most of the night. If the little ones have any say in it, then I'd say these ones will probably last the whole day. The best part about this now is we've got some big bugs, and as you can see, this is going to be quite popular and a really good idea for these guys. Some of them just don't belong in one pipe. They're way too big, you little fatties. This one, it barely fits in a 65mm pipe. He jumped straight onto the leaf, pushing the force of the leaf, it's almost at the breaking point. Get off there, you big fatty. Come on, mate. Come on. Back up there. Okay. They love the bugs that fly around here around summertime. So now this PIR has made the lights auto dim because it hasn't seen anything moving. So if I move a little bit closer to it, it comes alive. So I really wish I could keep these lights on this brightness the whole night. It'd be really good. I only get a few hours worth of light out of it, but I really don't care. I mean, look at these guys. They're absolutely huge and they're getting fatter by the day. Seen another one. He's going down for it. More food off the ground. Lovely. I mean, this is what they're doing to the plant. Basically, they're ripping leaves. I'm sure that the plant will be good enough to sustain smaller frogs, but these guys are absolutely huge compared to what they're designed for. Now, if you're like me and you're silly enough to be wearing white on an evening like we've got right now, there's a lot of bugs around and you're going to get swarmed in a big way. So that's kind of what I'm expecting right now, because they are just about everywhere. So the frogs are going to be really happy with this. They're going to have themselves a bit of a banquet. Another happy customer. Now the side lights are still on, but if I come around this corner here, the lights go from being dim. There we go. I used to wonder what all the noise was outside, and then I figured it was the frogs. I thought, okay, that's fine. Got some hungry frogs. Good catch. 2 for 1. Good job, mate. They'll go for the stuff that kind of just lands around, or they can hear buzzing or whatever. So, see that? So I've got a bit of a late addendum to the video. What we've got now is a bit of wood as acting as a standoff in between the light mount and the shed wall. So now what we can do is to actively angle this a lot further up and down than what we could before, because it was running into the shed, and that looks pretty good. I might give it a spray of black just so it blends in. So now we've got a fairly good light spread, and we'll see how it looks at night time. Okay guys, so there we have it. The lights are up, installed, working, and having the desired effect with the frogs. I'm sure they're very appreciative, very grateful that the lights are on and giving more access to the bugs, which I keep stepping on because of all this light. We've still got a little bit of work in progress to do as far as mitigation of these bugs actually going into the water. I don't want to have to clean up all the corpses afterwards, but it's kind of the way it is. I mean, just got to deal with it. So I've still got the bin hotel as a work in progress. That'll be coming up soon, and I just wanted to get these lights up and demonstrate how much of a difference that there is for the frogs. So there's the lights fully dim now, and you can see just over my shoulder there. When I saw a bug fly in front of the PIR before, it actually turned the lights back on to full brightness, which I wasn't expecting, but usually if someone walks in front of it, or if the wind blows the leaves of a plant around or something like that, then the PIR will usually pick it up. Bugs usually aren't that detectable to a PIR. I would really like to have the original lights that I ordered, which were a little bit more flexible, a bit more versatile with their options as far as positioning goes, as far as the amount of light goes, remote control options, leave it on for as long as you want, that type of thing. But as it is, I mean, you know, it's as good as it's going to get right now. So the frogs are loving it, and yeah, that's about all I can really hope for right now. Alright, so that about wraps it up, guys. Thanks very much for watching, and if you like the content, of course, feel free to give a like. If you haven't subscribed already, please feel free to do so, and hit the notifications button as well, and also feel free to share the content if you feel it's appropriate. So as I said, a little bit of fiddling left to do, but more content coming up soon, and thanks very much for watching, guys. You've been with the big fella. Have a good one.